Along with that, the tiny child whose mother gave up hope of life, yet this person one day surprised everyone and made an extraordinary contribution to the practice of science. This is like a wonderful harvest for the world for the sake of the Creator. He is a brilliant astrologer in the realm of science, Sir Isaac Newton. He is a physicist and mathematician. One of the contributions, Newton's law of motion. A. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. B. Unless forced to change its state by an external force, a stationary object will remain stationary forever and a moving object will continue to move in a straight line with constant momentum forever. C. The rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the force applied on the object, and the change in momentum also occurs in the direction in which the force is applied. Newton's theory of gravity. All objects in the universe attract each other with force. This force of attraction is proportional to the mass of the two objects and inversely proportional to the distance between the two objects. He has done research in almost every branch of science. It can be said that wherever he has touched, gems have blossomed. His research in arithmetic, astronomy, and physics once created a great stir all over the world. In fact, Newton laid the foundation of those three sciences. Scientist Newton was born in 1642 in a village called Woolsthorpe, near Grantham, Lincolnshire, England. His father's name was also Isaac Newton. His father died a few months before Newton's birth. His mother, Hannah Newton, named her son Isaac Newton in memory of her husband. When Newton was 2 years old, his mother married Barnabas Smith, a pastor of a nearby church. During this marriage, she wrote down all her property in Newton's name. The first 3 years of his life were spent with his widowed mother. At this time, his mother married. Newton was raised by his grandmother as an unwanted child. The scientist Newton spent his childhood and adolescence in a kind of orphan state. His educational life began in this village school. He studied in this school until the age of 12. Then he went to the nearby town of Pantham and enrolled in a school called King's. At that time, his extraordinary talent was recognized. Newton was sickly from birth. Yet, he had no shortage of mischief. On the other hand, the teachers were impressed by the knowledge and talent of the boy Newton. One day, Newton noticed one thing: the school principal's son was late to school. Newton said, "Sir, I will make a clock for you, so that you can come to school on time by looking at the clock." He made a clock. There was a water pot on the clock. Every day, a certain amount of water was poured into that pot. Drops of water from him fell on the clock hands. As a result, the clock hands moved at their own pace. Scientists and saints sometimes become so absorbed in their own thoughts that they forget everything. Newton was also immersed in a new scientific idea. One day, a man came to his house and showed him a prism, a triangular piece of glass, and asked how much it might cost. At that time, Newton considered the scientific importance of the prism and said that it was beyond his power to determine its exact value. As a result, the man asked for a higher price. Newton bought the prism at that price. From this prism, he later invented the theory of color. When Newton's mother became a widow for the second time, he started living together with his mother and step-siblings again. What a cruel irony of fate! Meanwhile, it was not possible for his mother to supervise the fields alone. Finally, her mother dropped out of school and brought the 14-year-old Newton to her village home. But Newton continued his studies by going to the family library of his friend's house in addition to his farm work. The wheel of fate suddenly turned. Uncle William, fascinated by his nephew's thirst for knowledge, kept Newton with him. His uncle was associated with Trinity College, Cambridge. Newton was admitted to school again. This time entirely at the initiative of his uncle. A year later, Newton was admitted to Trinity College. A new life began. Newton was extraordinarily talented. He was quite hard-working. Newton had a good grasp of mathematics. It can be said that he could easily solve any complex problem. Yet he had no particular attraction to mathematics. Rather, the invincible mysteries of nature seemed to attract him the most. Newton's belief was strong that only through science could this secret mystery of nature be revealed. Newton received his bachelor's degree in 1665. While he was a college student, he discovered some complex facts, binomial theorem, flux ions which are now known as integral calculus. He also discovered the density of solids, the method for calculating the area of curves or the volume of slides. In 1666, with the invention of the flux ions method, he started thinking about the force of gravity. Surprisingly, Newton was only 24 years old at that time. An incident in the theory of gravity. He went to his mother during college vacation. He was sitting in the garden with his lover in the natural environment. At that moment, an apple suddenly fell. He became engrossed in other thoughts. He unknowingly caught a burning cigarette in the corner of his lips. As a result, the lover ran away. Meanwhile, scientist Newton was wondering why the apple fell to the ground instead of rising to the sky. This question brought an era in the world of human thought. Thus the theory of gravity was created. Although this idea had its origins long before. Newton published his research in